What up, y'all? This is Mikey from Canada Rifles. Now, I want to do a really quick video today with the Valken M17, doing the set screw mod and the bumper mod that, kind of helps fix that double fart, that double feed sound that we've been getting once we reach higher FPS with the M17. So super easy mod. We're going to start with the set screw mod. Now, I just got this M17 in today from my warehouse. I'm going to tune it up and do both these mods for one of my customers, Tim. Hope he really likes it. So yeah, let's just get started real quick. So this is our M17 that we're going to be working on today. Now, one second, you guys, sorry. Okay, so now we're going to start with the mod for the set screw. So really quickly, I'm going to zoom in a bit here to make it easier. Okay, so all you guys need for this is an Allen key, okay, and a wrench. I'm using a 8-inch wrench. So first thing we're gonna do, this is our M17 right here. So this is our velocity. Let me just make sure I'm getting this right. So this is our velocity right here. Okay, you don't want to touch that for now. This is the set screw right here, literally, and then this what is it called? I kind of forget the name, but this bolt is what we're going to be taking out and putting in a new set screw. So we're starting right here. Now I did gas this thing up really quick just to make sure everything's running good, and it is. I'm going to kind of do both my mods before I start playing with the velocity, but really quickly, let's get this done. So we're going to start with our trusty wrench here. We're going to take our M17. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, sorry guys, this is kind of awkward, so I don't know if you're going to have the best angle. So I'm going to take my wrench. I'm going to go down to where the set screw is placed. Now I'm going to go counterclockwise. Okay, it's going to have to be like this. I'm going to go counterclockwise with the wrench until it basically comes off. So pretty simple. Make sure it's tight enough. Go to the left. Now, if you don't set the velocity too high at the beginning, this step is actually really simple. Here, make it easier for you guys to see. So this is what we're taking off. So I'm going counterclockwise, just loosening it. So underneath this horizontal bolt here, there's an O-ring at the bottom. So when you guys are putting this back on after we've installed the proper set screw, okay, so after you guys are putting that back on, you'll notice there is an O-ring at the bottom. So first, this is what we just took off. So we went counterclockwise and took off this bad boy. Now, as you can see, this is the set screw that we're trying to get rid of. Sorry, guys. Now, as you guys can see, there's a hole in it, okay? There's a hole, and underneath this, there's a spring and a little ball. We're going to be taking that spring and that ball out, and then the set screw we're going to be replacing it with basically doesn't have a hole, so there's going to be no way that air can come out. Now, when you guys put it back in, like I was just mentioning, okay, if you guys can see, there's an O-ring at the bottom. Okay, so when you go tighten it again, make sure you don't tighten it too tight or you're going to damage that O-ring, and then you might get leaks, you might get problems. I still haven't really damaged it. It's still super pretty basic and simple. Just don't go too hard, and I've never even really had to tighten it up once it's placed in there properly. So make sure that O-ring's in place. Sometimes it falls out, so check your mat or whatever you're working on if it does fall out. Now, like I said, first thing we're gonna do here, let me just show you. And this is the new set screw that we're gonna use. So as you guys can see, I got plumber's tape around it. Now this tape is very important. If you do this mod without the tape, you're gonna still get a leak. There's a lot of pressure buildup in the area that we're modding. So if you don't do the plumber's tape, I was lazy the very first time I didn't do the plumber's tape, and unfortunately it didn't work. So make sure you do the tape. But if you guys can notice, there's absolutely no hole in there, so no air is going to be getting out. Now, what we're gonna do is take that piece we just took off. Okay, I'm gonna take our Allen key, put our Allen key in there. I'm gonna take our wrench so we can hold it down. Okay, so okay, counterclockwise, as you guys can see, that set screw starts becoming loose. Boom. So that's the stock set screw that we're taking out right now. As you guys can see, there's a hole in it. Now make sure if you're ever gonna sell this gun again, you wanna keep this just so you can put it back on if you want. Now inside that horizontal octagon, whatever the hell this thing is, bolt that we just took out, you're gonna find a spring, okay? And you're gonna find another piece. Now that other piece, sometimes it falls out, sometimes it doesn't. Necessarily you don't have to take it out if it doesn't fall out. Let's just leave that guy in there. Actually, you know what? Let's just take it out. No, you know what? I want to leave it in there one time and see what the difference is. Because this guy's not coming out easily. I don't know why the last one, it fell out. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take that. So it's the piece we just took off, the M17. We're going to take that new set screw we got with the plumber's tape. So before you just screw it on, I'd suggest you go counterclockwise. You can feel it get into its spot with your hands. This guy feels like it's in place. So what we're gonna do, sorry, I can barely focus there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Allen key, the new set screw and the plumber's tape. We're gonna put our Allen key in there, go clockwise. Now, basically, you wanna go all the way down till you feel it tighten. Now, sometimes when you're first doing this mod, you'll notice after, you get a couple shots in, you'll notice the set screw is, I wouldn't say loose, but you can tighten it a little bit more. That's fine. You can do that on the marker, but you don't actually have to tighten the bolt that it's sitting on. So make sure that's tight, nice in place. Okay. Now the set screw that we're using right now, it's an 8 times 1.5 times 8. So you guys can also use an 8 times 1.5 times 10. I think the 8 times 1.25 times 10 is actually a little bit better because it's longer. So it kind of fills up, that bolt that it sits in better, but super easy. I got this at Canadian Tire. I think it cost me 35 cents Canadian. So, super cheap mod. Now, like I said, we went as far in as we could. Basically, it's going to be almost flush with that bolt that it sits in. Nothing too special. Just tighten it up once you get it, right back on the marker. But yeah, that's it. We got it in there. Now we're going to take our marker. So like I said, there's an O-ring at the bottom, so you want to be careful with that. You don't want to tighten it too much. As always, I'm going to go left first until I hear it kind of lock in. Hear it lock in. I'm going to go to the right, clockwise. Tighten it up with my hands. Okay, so now this guy's in place. What we're going to do is take our trusty wrench right here. Now, we're just going to go clockwise. Sorry, I know you guys can barely see this, but it is very, very simple. We're going to go clockwise until it becomes tight. Okay, and like I said, you don't want to go too tight because what's going to happen is you're going to damage that O-ring, but you will feel it tighten up real fast. Almost there. Okay, so that's good to go. Now, once it's in its place, we're gonna take our Allen key again, put it in the new set screw spot, make sure it is tight. See, it still has a little bit of room to go. This set screw, you wanna really get it in there. There's a lot of air that's gonna be trying to make its way out. So that is pretty tight, good to go right there. Now, really quickly before we gas this guy up, before on my first M17 when I was working on it, when I was using the 9.9 gram round ball riot ball, before I did the set screw mod, okay, I was getting 250 FPS max with the 9.9 gram. And after I did the set screw mod, I was getting 300 FPS. So as you can see, quite a bit of difference when it comes to FPS. So I would say for 35 cents, the mod is super worth it. So we just screwed in our bottle, got my ASA on off, twist it on. Now you can hear that bolt go forward. Sorry, it's super hard to twist this on with this stock piece that they use for the buttstock, which I don't use. I've already ripped my hand a couple times. I don't like it at all. So, okay, so you can hear that bolt go forward. I don't hear any leaks. I don't see any leaks. When you guys actually don't do this right away, you'll just see air funneling out of that pocket. Let's go ahead, give it a couple shots. Seems like it's working completely fine. So that was the set screw mod. Super simple. Now let's degas our M17 again. And then now let's do our bumper mod. So degas the gun, make sure there's no air in it. When you guys are doing any tunes, working on your marker, that's when an ASA on off really comes in hand. I personally really like it when it also comes to home defense, because you can always leave the marker on the gun. But really quickly, let's do the bumper mod now. Okay, so when you get your M17, you're gonna get an extra bumper, which looks like this guy right here. The flat piece that is in this bag has an extra O-ring and it has an extra bumper. So what we're gonna do for Tim over here is take the extra bumper and install it. But before we do that, I quickly need to grab another Allen key. So I will be right back. Quickly, let's do our bumper mod. So the first thing we're gonna do, we degassed our M17. Make sure there's no gas in it, since we are taking out the bolt. If there is pressure in it, this bolt will come back, so be ready for that. Now the first thing we're gonna do, as you can see, we do have two pins here. We're gonna be taking both our pins out. Super simple. So that's one. That's two. Now the second one just went flying, so we're gonna have to find that. Okay, so sorry about that. Now we're gonna take the washers that are on top of our pins. Now in the couple of videos I saw, they suggest you always take out your pins from the left side. So from the left side of our marker, that's what we're gonna do. So from the left side of our marker, we're gonna take out our pin. Now, like I said, there might be a little bit of resistance that comes from this bolt. Oh, that was the second O-ring. And that's our second pin. So, just took it out. Now what you guys are gonna do, you're gonna just pull back and the bolt will come out. So this is our bolt. Now as you guys can see, it comes stock with two bumpers. Now, when we're using this marker and, you know, we've done the set screw mod and, you know, if we brought the velocity up, sometimes you'll hear this double feed sound, especially when you're using a bottle that's pushing 1100 PSI. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that extra stock bumper the M17 comes with. We're gonna simply put it down where the other bumpers were. So now we got a total of 3, and that is absolutely it, you guys. So really quick, you don't want to put too much oil, but just enough so it is a little bit shiny. We're gonna do that quick. All over. Now there is an O-ring at the top. I do suggest you put a little bit of oil there. Close up your bottle. That's a Valken Premium Tango oil, which I like to use. This O-ring is out of place a little bit. Make sure it's in place. Okay, perfect. So that's done. We're gonna push this back into our marker. You're gonna have to put a little bit of force behind it. Now, like I said, our pins, we always want to put it from the left side to the right side. Make sure it is lined up. So this is the left side. Sometimes you do have to put a little bit of pressure. That's 1 pin. That's 2 pins. So, oops. Okay. Now we're gonna put our washers back. Sorry, we're gonna put our washers back. Okay, we're gonna put our pins right back in. Okay, there's one. Make sure it's nice and tight in place. These guys are really easy to lose, so make sure you're doing this somewhere where if you do drop anything, you guys can easily get it back. That is our second pin. Now, both are right in place. Just want to double check they're all the way in, which they are. Boom. So bumper mod, set screw mod, super simple. What we're gonna do, very quick, tighten up this ASA, make sure it's in place. I'm gonna take our bottle. Turn on our ASA. Hear that bolt go forward. No leaks. No nothing yet. Hopefully I'm not speaking too quick. Boom. There you go. Now we gotta set the velocity. And that's it. So our velocity is right here. Now, you know, the way I have it is, you know, maybe a couple millimeters underneath the flush level, but you grab a chronograph and start chronoing away. Alrighty guys, hopefully this video helps.